Hey cousins, it's your favorite cousin, Robin. First episode of the Sunday Dinner Podcast. I'm so excited. Your cousins are your first friends, and I'm sitting here with two of my besties from way back, Daquan and Gene. And we're just going to talk today because, family is everything. And I recognize that there's so many people that don't have family. And one of my favorite experiences is Sunday dinner. So if you've ever been to Sunday dinner and you've ever had all your favorite soul food, your cousins are there, everybody's talking smack, you're getting the wisdom from the elders. I feel like there's just a space that's missing. So Sunday Dinner Podcast is here. We're going to talk about everything and anything. Two of my favorite people in the world. I'm going to let them introduce themselves just a little bit, and then we're going to jump into this conversation. Oldest want to go first?
Perfecto.
All right.
So
we defer to our elders.
here we go. Just don't talk about Aunt Rose's rice. Hopefully nobody sees this, but I'm kidding. My name is Gene. I go by Cherokee. That is a nickname that if you call at the house right now, even at 50 plus, you might say that name, but it's going to be like speaking Spanish. They're going to automatically convert it and yell that name. So I'm the oldest on pretty much every side, and I'm here with my cousin. I'm going to enjoy this time.
All right, I'm Quan, the little brother, aka Gene's brother. If you see me out in these streets repping IOTA, people were like, Quan, I'm like Gene's brother. They're like, oh yeah,
Q40.
yeah, there it is.
Yeah. That's awesome. So let's just get started. Where'd y'all grow up? We're in Cleveland. We're in our hometown. I don't really live here anymore, but that's okay. Still home. But tell me a little bit about where y'all grew up and what that was like middle school, high school.
So I got to tell you, we kind of, our life was kind of like the wood, if I can put it that way. So we went in a bunch of different places, young parents, and the best part of growing up is when I would say we moved on 98th and North Boulevard. I think that's where we really met our friends, our lifelong friends, and just craziness happened in the neighborhood.
So your experience is a little different than mine. So me and Cherokee are 9 years apart, which when you're young, that is a generation in essence, right? No, seriously.
Here we go.
Here we go.
Okay, I can agree with
when
that.
I'm 8.
Yeah, he's 17.
He's 17, about to go off to college.
Yeah.
Right?
Doing stuff 17-year-olds do.
Yeah, so
Always had time for him, though.
You did. So our experience was a little bit different. So all I really remember is East 98th Street off 105, represent the 5, y'all. So that's what I remember.
Yes.
In 89.
So
that's my experience, which is a little different than yours.
So I recall, so in 78, when you were born, we were on Parkside right around the corner, but you never would have really known that. You came home from the hospital.
It was a Friday.
House caught on fire. Boom, we was up out of there. And
Wait, so the house caught on fire the day you came home from the hospital?
No. A couple months later. But I do have a visual of Granny coming out, and yeah, we're gonna leave that alone.
There are some lore and stories around how the fire got started.
That
is a point of contention.
Point of contention.
Yeah,
Okay.
Revisionist history, whatever.
However, he was too young to start the fire. I can tell you that because he was an infant. But that is where we started off, and we moved around. And I call it more like the wood because that's where I met one of my best friends, Ray Olu, and the Olu brothers, and we kind of grew up in the neighborhood. And so that's why I say it was really like the wood. When I see that movie and it talks about moving around a lot, that's where I formed my bonds, my lifelong bonds there. I can't recall friends from any other neighborhood except right there. Right. Yeah. So that's why I say it was more like the wood. And I think about the kids coming up behind us. Like my brother said, he is 9 years younger, but I remember all the stuff like playing football,
right?
My sister getting us in trouble. Like it was just always a good time. Right. So that's why I call that neighborhood was like the wood, if I had to put it to it.
Yeah. Right. Rest in peace, Ebenita Williams.
That's right.
Yes. R.I.P. Our cousin. So she was in the middle. She's
in the middle.
All right.
Mm-hmm. Right. Quan hit her in the ear with the telephone. That's not revisionist history. She was always picking on him. So,
so Nita's 6 years older than me.
Right.
Okay.
So Nita used to. So this is the thing I love about my sister. She would she would do what big sisters do to little brothers.
Right.
Yes, sir.
But Nita always had my back. Right. So there are some people in the neighborhood who know about my sister's hand skills.
Yes.
Like my sister used to beat people up about me, like legitimately. Yes. And I'm not gonna tell none of the stories.
Right.
But folks who watching, and y'all know who y'all are, y'all remember those stories.
Yeah.
What do y'all got a broken arm from?
Somebody got a broken
interaction.
arm.
Oh, right. Wow.
So Nita was that chick. That's my guy.
Yeah.
So let's talk about Ebonita. Let's talk about Nita as I knew her growing up as a kid.
Huh?
Tell me about, you guys lost her a few years ago. How has that been?
It has been, it's been difficult. Like to lose a sibling, it's like you lose a rib. Like you lose a part of you. And I remember I was grieving, and I was grieving hard. Somebody told me to get over it. Right.
Wow.
So what I tried to explain to that person was like, that's not something you get over.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. That's not something you can get over. You can't move on for it. You just you grow around it. That becomes a part of your story. Right. But yeah, that was my gal, man. We spent some great times together, especially as we got older. Like we worked together in the same office for years, and yeah, that was my gal.
Yeah. For me, I spent a lot of time annoyed with her situation, until I finally got to the point as we got older, it's like her situation wasn't going to change. Like, Nita had so much potential as a track athlete. Yeah. She was recruited all over the country, and, I felt that she did not achieve. And it was just part of that thing with me. It's like with me being the older sibling, it was always like, I want better for you. I want you to do it this way. And so our relationship was strained for a while. But, I was glad that towards the end, I was able to get past that and go have conversations with her. And I remember a couple days before she passed, she was in hospice. And I was just there. And I just, I stayed overnight because I didn't want to leave. And I remember the last thing she said to me, she was like, I just want to see my grandmother. And I made the call. I said, she just wants to see you. And we made the change. She saw my grandmother. And by the time I got home and was getting ready to come back, it's like she's gone. And so
I remember that.
I could say I said my piece, and it kind of hit really, really hard. And we've all experienced loss, but nothing like that.
Your baby sister, and I think it's so important that we have this moment of the conversation. So I appreciate y'all for going in that place, right? That's probably still very tender.
Oh, I tear up thinking about it.
Yeah, and I love that.
Like her birthday coming up.
Yeah. September 6th.
And knowing like there's so many families that things happen, disagreements happen, expectations, disappointments, and then the communication is severed for any period of time, right? So when we're talking about families and just like trying to be together, I know my sister and I, we've had up and down relationship, where we haven't spoken for months and months and months. Not because anything was wrong per se, but just because like the relationship wasn't right? So, what do we need to do in our families? Like, how do we squash it quick and get back? What do we need to do?
I'm glad you brought that up. I was having this conversation with somebody the other day. Thank God I've never been in a situation where I fell out with any of my siblings and we didn't talk for an extended period of time.
Yeah.
It's never happened.
Yeah,
right.
That's awesome.
Ever. Like, we be mad at each other. It might be a day or so, but one of us gonna be like, hey, we'll call and talk about something totally unrelated and just move on.
Yeah.
Like, we'll say our sorries or my bads or I was wrong. I can say that about our sibling relationship, that we have always been mature enough, wise enough to understand the importance of family, right? Because here's the crazy thing. like we never say it, but we all, what the world would consider, have siblings, right? We all got different fathers.
This is a Sunday dinner conversation. Get it.
To me, it's never like that. Like, I ain't never heard, like, you would never hear that come out my mouth, right?
Yeah. Never.
Right. But our relationship is such that we're wise and we've always been mature enough to understand the importance of family and the importance of keeping that family, that nucleus together. So we ain't, I don't never, you remember us ever falling about some bull? I don't.
No.
So like the maturity piece is one thing, right? And you're blessed to have that. But what do we say to people that maybe haven't matured? Like, what is the strategy? What is the way?
I would say, I look at it like you could have a disagreement. You should be able to have a disagreement and move forward. Like you could agree to disagree. The problem I see is that there's a need to be right. Daquan and I talk about this all the time, like in our relationships. It's like, okay, well, some people would rather be right. And sometimes there isn't a right or wrong. Right. Yeah. And so if you can remove that aspect of wanting to be right and just put the facts on the table, right? I think that's one way to move forward. Like, your facts and my facts, it doesn't mean one is necessarily wrong. It's just you might endure more to your fact than theirs. And so if you can get to the point where, you know what, I have my facts, you have your facts, that's just it.
And we're family at the end of the day.
At the
like,
end we can be angry of the day, and
upset, but
you cannot get rid of them out.
Yeah.
You can't get rid of them.
For me, it's always been, I love my family so much that I am willing to swallow my pride and my ego
that part
for the sake of keeping the peace. And that might be a part of being the youngest.
Yeah.
But my thing is like, okay, I don't give a shit who right or wrong. Let's just squash this so that we can be back to who we know we are.
And you know what? So I've done a couple of like speaking engagements, right? And this acronym that I took from a coach of Western Michigan is the acronym for family, right? We talking about family, right? But that acronym, FAMILY, forget about me, I love you. And if you truly think about that, right? If you forget about me, my personal, because I love you. And if you think about that, the word family, forget about me, I love you, then you're putting what's important to them ahead of you. And so if you continue with that acronym, you'll be all right. And so that is the thing. Forget about me, I love you. And that really kind of helps me.
Yeah.
Stickiness, right? So we want families to stick together. Like the world is such a wild place. I mean,
I enjoy the wild.
It is crazy.
I enjoy the wild, by the way.
It is a wild
You enjoy
place.
the wild?
I enjoy the wild sometimes.
Okay.
Yes.
Yeah.
And it's like you need your family. You mentioned 89th, right? So as cousins, kind of how we're related is interesting, and we might get into that. But my father, your father are first cousins. But my father and his sister were raised by my grandmother's sister, who all my life I thought was my grandmother.
Correct.
And she's really my aunt. Right. So everybody would call her Aunt Rose, but I would always call her Grandma Rose. Right. And they'd be like, no, it's Aunt Rose. Well, now I know, right? The rest of the story. So just going there, like you don't even say the name, like of whose house you're going to. It's just like everybody knew 89.
I'm going to 89.
What that meant, right?
Yes.
So that was our place. That was our safe haven. That was our history. That was our entrance into, Cleveland and that whole story.
Car playing, talking,
gardening, like,
dogs in the backyard.
All dogs in the backyard, right? We were going to have a, sleepover. Cousins going to be there. And when the cousins walked through the door, I remember when you were a kid, you had a coat, like that coat from the 80s. It was blue with the big furry hood around there.
Oh, I know you're talking about.
Those coming back in style, right?
Those coming back in style.
And you had like this fro. I remember your fro. Like as a kid, that's what I remember about you. Like you come through the door at 89th and I'd be like, oh, my big cousin, you had that fro. And I remember in the winter you had that coat with that big furry hood.
Yeah. And listen, everybody wanted that coat. Well, actually, you did want the coat because everybody had the coat.
Right.
But now you wish you had that coat.
Yeah.
Right now. And Daquan's point, it is making a comeback.
But like, let's talk about that place now. Like, you all are family men, got wives, got children, and are y'all having Sunday dinner? What's happening?
Listen, I wish we could have Sunday dinner. We do try to make time for dinners. But if we're having Sunday dinner, it's rare that it's at home. We might be like, okay, let's go to Cracker Barrel or something and sit around. The jokes still come hard and fast.
Yes.
It's just making time to do that. Making time to do that. The dynamic.
Do you think it's important to do it at home, or is it the fact we're just getting together?
I think the congregation is the most important piece. Yeah. However, shout out to the wife. We do have Sunday dinner at the crib at least twice a month.
At least twice a month. I'll settle for once a month, right?
And then we take, because we don't do leftovers in our house. I do leftovers personally. But
one day tops.
Listen,
might kill me, Dakota, but
Solomon do leftovers. The rest of them jokers don't do leftovers. So the beauty of that is we made the decision, like, once we cook, we taking this food to our elders.
Okay, all right, I can get with that, because I was about to say y'all some other stuff, not eating the leftovers. I get it.
Hey, listen,
but you sharing
that's
the
that's that bougie stuff. It ain't me.
So we
Thanksgiving.
I love bougie though.
Thanksgiving, Thanksgiving is at my house, so it's about 60 people.
It is. It's massive.
And so in my mind, in my feeble mind, I'm going to rationalize that Sunday dinner times 10.
Oh, so you thinking you get 6 months?
Oh yeah,
worth of Sunday dinner just for Thanksgiving? No, man, that calculus does not work. Brother.
Wait. Who here has not been over there for Thanksgiving?
I've been.
Absolutely.
Yes.
And is it not nuts?
It's Thanksgiving.
I think it is organized chaos.
It's organized chaos, right? It's like 60 people.
It is.
So listen, I should get some play for that. I should get credit for that being Sunday or Thursday dinner, whatever we gonna call it.
Not Thursday dinner, Sunday dinner.
Thursday dinner.
Oh no, we can't
Thursday
have that.
dinner.
If that's what you feel like, you need some credit, I'm gonna give you some credit.
There we go.
But if this was in an isolated,
give my credit.
No, I wouldn't.
Let's talk about being married. So I was married for 10 years, been divorced now longer than I was married.
Okay.
Has it been that long? I've been divorced since 2010. So what, 14 years?
14 years.
Yeah.
Good Lord.
And so, I raised my daughter. She's 23 now, single mom, did all that. My ex remarried, so, whatever.
How soon did he remarry?
Real soon, real quick. It was like maybe 2 years, 3 years, I don't know, maybe 3 years. He claimed he waited a year to see if we was going,
My bad. Keep going.
I apologize. No, that's okay. You don't gotta apologize. And I think I focused on her, went back to school, so all these things that like single moms, especially Black women, do. It's like, let me go get more education so I can get a better job, all these things. And I really put the relationship on the back burner, right? Because I grew up in the 80s. It's when, women would get with men and, next thing you know, the kids are molested. So I think in my mind, somehow that narrative took root. And I was like, I'm just going to focus on her, try to get us to a better place, economically.
You did a good job.
I appreciate that. I appreciate that.
I
appreciate that. And so what I said was, when she's old enough, then maybe I'll start entertaining, dating, get married and all that stuff, right?
Product tour.
Wait, is that what we call it? Is that what we call it, entertaining?
So now I'm 50. I feel good about that. But it is so hard because everybody that I would want to date or be with is married. Or everybody is just out here playing games. So talk about being these husbands. Let's just talk about being husbands first. We get to the fatherhood piece later. What do these guys need to hear and know? How do we adjust these behaviors?
I personally feel like y'all hold the cards.
Man, no. Just talk to the guys. We hold the cards.
Okay.
How?
That's how I feel.
How we hold the cards?
Because, to quote a Jay-Z line, no, I'm just joking.
Yeah. Quote it.
I ain't gonna quote
Bring
it.
the hip hop into this.
No, but I do. I feel like the women of substance
are have lonely, without a boyfriend, without a man.
Okay, well, I've been out the game for a long time.
Hey, what is this podcast
I
supposed to be? I thought it's supposed to be Sunday. You talking about?
It says Sunday
I'm
dinner.
kidding. I'm kidding.
Because look, I'm your cousin at Sunday dinner.
Okay.
With a real issue. You two, I trust you all because you have been such great husbands and fathers.
Okay.
That I know.
So I'm gonna tell you, this is what I learned, right? This is what I learned about being a husband.
Yeah.
Right. Being a husband has helped my memory.
What?
Yeah, and I'll explain, right?
Okay.
I truly believe it's helped my memory because as a man, as a husband, my life is lived between episodes of some woman being mad at me. Normally my wife, okay? Or my mama. Like my mama mad at me now about some stuff. And so, being that as it may,
yes,
it has helped with my memory. So I'm thankful for being married and having women in my life because it's helped me with my memory. Because as you get older, memory starts to slip, being 55. So you're rolling your eyes on that.
Well,
I am.
So listen, I really enjoy being married.
I do.
Me. Okay.
I enjoy being married. So
I do.
I'm on marriage number 2.
Okay.
Repeat offender.
Number 2 and last, right?
I'm trying to get to number 2.
Second time the charm. Right. So I really enjoy being married, especially with children, right? Married with children is a beautiful thing because it takes 2 to raise.
It does.
Now, not. Yeah, I mean, I get it. It's a lot of folks out here
ideal.
raised. A lot of these mamas, a lot of these fathers. We're gonna get a fathers a shout out to who raise their children on their own. However, what I do know is that when you got 2 in a household working together, equal, yoked, working towards the same vision of raising these kids, man, it is a thing of beauty. They come into the world equipped. Like I think about cubs, right? Like animals in the wild, they don't send their children out until they're ready to fend, right? We send our children out ill-equipped a lot of times. And I think a lot of times that is a byproduct of not having 2 in a household. But that's another story.
Right.
I think by having 2 that are both sane, not crazy, working towards the same goals, your cubs come out ready. They come ready for the world.
Okay, so that's being a dad.
Excuse me?
But that's the thing, though. Do we always get that? I'm going to back it back.
I put some qualifiers on there. I said working towards same goals.
Okay.
Not crazy.
Okay.
Right.
Yeah.
I'm going to say let's back it up prior to being a husband and being parents, right?
Okay.
Before you get into the marriage, into the relationship, I would say, and my wife said this all the time, like whenever she's upset, that's how I remember things. Remember I told you, episodes of women be mad at you.
Yeah.
We didn't have that discussion on how we want to raise kids, right?
Ah.
All I saw was a pretty face, and we had some values that were pretty much the same.
Yes.
And so you're thinking, their values the same as my values. We had to get to these values pretty much the same way, and that's not necessarily the truth. I would say make sure that you have that conversation, and that's sometimes why marriages don't last. And to your point, as you say, guys are out here playing games. It's not that they're playing games, it's just that their value system is different, and the mindset could be that I don't have time to figure out what their value system is because here's where I need to get to, and I want to shorten that time. And so it's not necessarily that they're playing games, just their value system is different than what yours is.
I recently saw this clip, and it talked about men. It's a clip from a movie, and it talked about men wanting to impress other men. How y'all feel about that? Either of y'all, because y'all are like alpha leaders. At least that's how I've experienced you.
See there, I don't really, well, put it this way. Oftentimes, men can be peacocks. They want to put their best foot forward. But it's rarely that we're trying to impress another man by putting our best foot forward. Even as married men, we want to go out and make sure that we look a certain way and that we are appreciated. I'm always talking about good intent. Like when I leave and someone say if something happened down the street and they said, well, it couldn't have been that guy because I had an interaction with that guy. You telling me that guy did that? Oh, heck no. Right. It can't be. So, we're not out trying to impress each other, I don't think. However, we do want to be impressive.
That's a very important distinction.
We want to be impressive. We're not trying to impress anyone, but we want to be impressive.
Impressive like how?
Appreciate it. Appreciate it. You know, I mean, it's like, you know, how many times have you heard a woman say, man, that guy ain't shit. He ain't shit. A lot. Right? Right? That's what they say. And you know, why isn't he? Right?
Why isn't he?
Why isn't he?
Yes.
Right, exactly. So did he not, were you not impressed with what he said, what he did, how he looked, or your interaction? So I just want to make that.
I think it has a lot to do with integrity.
I'm glad you said that.
That has been my experience. Like, be the same person that you profess to be when it comes time to be that person indeed.
I'm glad you said that.
Yep.
You were somewhat reading my mind. Like, I don't go out trying to impress anyone. I just want to have a certain gravitas, a certain energy. So when I walk into any space, folks feel my energy, right? And
well said.
And I ain't trying to be flashy. I'm not trying to be this or that. I just want them to be like, this guy carries some weight. I don't know what it is about him, but he carries some weight about himself. And he seems like the type of brother that I would like to share energy and space with.
I think it's the energy of authenticity and integrity. It's like, I'm going to show up me.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
And I'm clear about what's good for me. And I think that's what a lot of our cousins don't. You know, it's like people say you got to spend time with yourself. You got to be able to look at yourself in the mirror. I think people are missing that because we're looking outward and trying to shape who we are based on what we see outwardly instead of just being.
And you know what I think about? So like, we have a cousin and I interact with them on social media, and I'm just like, the views are a little bit different than and I'm like, wait, we were raised with the same value system around the same people, and I just don't get it. So there's kind of, I won't mention the name. But
just tell it to me later.
Yeah, I'll tell it to you later. Right, exactly. On our ride home. Right, exactly. Right. But I just don't understand. But I also wonder if this person is trying to impress.
Yeah, that's probably what it is.
You know,
and I'm gonna backtrack. Can I backtrack real quick?
Go right ahead.
So you talked about men trying to impress, and I'm sitting here processing that. Know who I want to impress? My son, my nephews. I want them to look and be like, Uncle Quan, that's a stand-up dude. So I will backtrack a little bit.
They do love Uncle Big Homie, by the way.
Those are the people I want to impress.
Yes.
They do love Uncle Big Homie.
And I'm going to tell you, as a little girl growing up, being at 89th, Grandma, Auntie Rose's, Aunt Martha's house, right? When my uncles would come by, like, that was everything to me. When Uncle Bubba would pull up in his, big car.
Explorer, something.
Right. I'm going way back to I don't know, what is it, like the Deuce? Like the blue car. You remember the blue car was like
I remember
big,
the blue
long.
car.
It wasn't a Cadillac, but, and like he had that house in East Cleveland.
Still
back when East Cleveland was the business, right?
East Cleveland was the business. Still got that house.
I remember when Uncle Norman moved to Columbus, like I cried, man. I remember being sad. But when he would pull up, like he always brought me a gift. He always brought me a toy. Right. And this was when my parents had separated. So my father being their first cousin, I spent a lot of time at 89th. Right.
Yeah.
And so like they were the kind of men that I was like just enamored with. Like my first example of like well dressed, they smell good, haircut, always had nice cars. And they always came by 89th to check on Aunt Rose. Right.
Yeah. Because that was
like their mom.
Yeah. That's like their mom. Right. And so, I remember when Norman moved to Columbus because me and Van went to Columbus. I remember breaking the table. That was crazy. He was so mad. She had her foot on the table. Yeah. Broke the table. And I remember I was like, we just got here. You about to send us back. Right. We just got here. What are you doing?
What was the age difference with you and Auntie Van?
Maybe about 7 years. It wasn't that much.
Okay.
It wasn't that much. Yeah. So it was almost like
a big sister almost.
Yeah, like her and Moore's about the same age. Like they were all, the crazy part is that the Williams and the Willoughbys were at East High. together. And so like they knew each other even before moms and pops got together. Like they all knew each other. They were at, Auntie Net was beating up everybody.
Yes, Auntie Net and
still
your sister reminded me so much of each other.
Oh my goodness, they could box.
Like tough.
They
had
them hands. Box.
Yeah.
You said that name, Willie Annette. Please don't go get her. Please don't go get her. You can say that name now. It's probably some people still scared of her.
Right. Oh yeah. So all right. I don't know. I'm holding out hope that maybe I will get married, but I'm not holding my breath anymore. Right. I just kind of.
Why is that's something I was having a conversation with somebody with the other day.
Yes.
Always be having these not random conversations, but thought-provoking conversations. Like, I'm curious as to why marriage is so important to folks, to women.
Yeah,
because I've known a lot of people who've been in relationships. I ain't gonna name no uncles' names. Y'all know who y'all is. Y'all been in relationships with people for 30 years.
For 30 years.
And ain't married.
For 30
but
years.
It works.
The special friend. So I just saw this, somebody said in the obituary, the special friend at the end.
Yeah.
And the special friend, Miss Cheryl.
Right.
Miss
Like, I don't know what that talk about.
Yeah. Obituaries are funny these days.
It's the same thing that you said, right? So no longer am I seeking marriage to like raise a child, but it's like the companionship. And for me, it's a safety thing. For me, it's somebody who wants to protect me, who wants to look out for me. We can get into the like traditional 50-50, who paying for stuff and all that. But that's not what it is for me. It's just I feel like so uncovered. Because, my father is deceased, right? So that's why y'all too. I call crying like, oh, this happened, right? This dude, I thought whatever.
I think you need to get out of Atlanta is what I think.
That's a land of the misfits.
So
that's what I think. I'm just gonna say it.
But where are the men?
Sorry, Atlanta people.
Yeah, I love Atlanta. I kick it.
But where are the men?
Well, I'm not going to say where the men are.
Yes.
Because I'm not looking for those men. But I will say that Atlanta's reputation, as of late.
You got so many people migrating to Atlanta.
In Atlanta. So people be like, oh, Atlanta, everybody's down low or this or that. But it's so many. I can meet 10 people in a week. One of them is from Atlanta. The other 9 are from Chicago, Jersey,
So you saying they just come there to just kick it?
Well, I think people are coming there for the economic opportunity because of the populace, right? It's so many people. So if you come there and you're a barber, you can build up a clientele, 200 or 300 people because it's 8 million people there.
Right.
So I think people come there for that. Right? At this age, I hope people not moving there to go to Magic City. I mean, you know what I'm saying? It's like.
Heard they got good wings.
Lemon pepper.
So when y'all come next time, let's go test them out.
Okay. Or
not.
Or
we can just go to the kitchen. We don't gotta go inside. Because I don't want y'all wives mad at me.
Hey, listen.
Yeah.
Cloudy with a chance of meatballs. You ain't got to worry about me making it rain. You ain't got to worry about that. I'm not going to have to
you gonna leave your money machine at home?
Sit on my hands.
Keep that for the wife. only.
That's why that is so crazy. That's why it's important to me. That's why I'm like, and look, I have reconciled. I'm 50. Like,
listen, age is not a thing.
But I'm not 28. I'm not 32. So I'm very clear.
Right.
So the desire for me has changed, right? It's like, girls are conditioned. The fairy tale from the time you're a little girl, it's like, you're going to grow up, you're going to have a husband and be a mom. And so you have to really fight against that conditioning. And I'm going to tell you another thing. It's hard to have new female relationships, I think, with married women. I'm not getting invited to the game nights, right? I get invited one time. And this is a true story. Got invited to an event, had a great time. The husband's like, oh, yeah, you live in a neighborhood, you need anything, your daughter, da-da-da-da-da. Guess where? I never got invited to another event.
That house.
So when you're not married and you are a single woman, make some people uncomfortable.
Let me ask you, have you joined your local chapter of Alpha Kappa?
So why are you doing that? Shout out to Soror Kamala Harris for president.
Hey.
Listen, A lot of those women are married.
But you didn't answer the question.
You didn't answer the
really
question.
Putting me on the spot like this?
Yes.
Yeah.
So I have not. You know why?
Are you going to tell us?
Strong belong? I don't know.
Oh, snap. No, because they're like 15 chapters, and I just haven't found my people yet. But I will. It's a goal of mine to do this year.
Because, that is a circle.
Where I can meet brothers and cousins of...
Absolutely. Mm-hmm. If you were fishing, which it doesn't sound like you're casting your reel.
I'm not.
Okay.
I'm nervous.
So, see, there we go.
That's okay to be nervous.
We got something passed in Sunday dinner. See that? Yeah. She's not casting her net, so she's not bringing any fish to said table. If anyone's...
I just want the fish to swim to the, to the shore.
Girl, you got to throw the bread out. Yeah. You'd have been.
What's the bread? What's the bread? What's the bread I gotta throw out?
Girl, you know what the bread is. I don't know what the bread is.
No.
You'd have been in the duck farm, right? I know when I wanted something, I threw the little bread out.
What's the bread I need to throw out?
I should say proverbial.
Beauty, intellect, good conversation.
Listen,
okay.
We just like you all like to laugh. We like to laugh.
I know,
too.
I love to laugh.
Yeah, absolutely.
Love good company.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Okay, that's the bread.
Bartender said, make me laugh, get the best tips.
Oh, yeah. Okay. All right.
Yeah. We're going to leave bartenders out of this question.
Right.
Can we try? No, I'm kidding. No, bartender.
Yeah, I need some drinks. I should have had some.
What type of drinks you talking about?
Drinks for y'all.
You know they got a bar back there.
Oh, there is a bar over there. Yeah. All right.
But I ain't drinking, so.
Okay. Okay, good. Neither am I.
Yeah.
Oh, you drinking?
Oh.
What you drink? What's your drink?
Whatever is cheap and cold.
No, brother, come on.
Man.
So,
Get this brother St. Ads.
And listen, I got a story about St. Ides and rallies. Y'all don't want to hear about that.
Rallies.
So, that was back in the day. The Crooked Eye.
Yes.
The Crooked Eye.
St. Ides.
I thought I met Halle Berry's sister. It's the last I remember.
What?
That's all I can say. It was Veils on the Circle. See, I'm dating myself.
Veils on the Circle.
Yeah.
Shout out to Miss Vel Scott. We love you, Miss Scott.
Now, Dimitri, what's going on if you're watching this?
All right. So let's talk about being daddies. Because y'all are some amazing daddies, amazing kids.
Well,
two kids in college, one kid in college, one kid on the way.
I just dropped my oldest daughter off at Howard University.
Yes.
And she is such a
Shout
sweetheart.
out to VP Kamala
such
Harris
an introvert.
President.
Man, when I tell you, yeah, I went to a room and I shed a couple tears. Like,
speak on it, Daddy.
What? But here's the thing. This is what I struggle with. This is what I struggle with.
You're not surprised that he cried.
Yeah. No. He's like, this nigga always crying. Real men cry.
Real men cry.
In private.
But not in the dark, right? Not in the dark. Okay.
No.
He does have a Zen room. So he could be in the dark.
I go put on some Tupac.
You have a Zen room?
Oh yeah, I got it. Yes, it's literally called the Zen Den.
I'm coming over tomorrow.
I went to sleep in there once.
Oh my God.
It's very peaceful though.
Yeah, I wasn't meditating or nothing. I was sleeping.
The Zen Den where Tupac is on repeat.
I'll put some Tupac on. Yeah, absolutely. But here's the thing. We're raising adults, number one.
Yes.
Number two, I'm starting, my thoughts and ideas are evolving. At times I feel that worry is the opposite of trust, right?
Yes.
So I'm worried so much,
that.
but I was worried, but then I had to remind myself to trust the process. We raised a beautiful, phenomenal young woman, and she gonna be okay. She gonna fall, she gonna make mistakes, but I need to trust the process. I need to trust her as a person. She gonna be okay. Now, don't mean I'm not a little nervous. Don't mean I'm not calling and texting and checking in, but I she gonna be all right.
That's right.
Yeah. That's similar to the conversation I had with Dawson the other day. I had to, like I said, I told you guys earlier, I literally needed to apologize to him because I was not trusting his ability. I was underestimating his ability to make the right decision, even though we had spent the past, now he's 19 years raising said person, and I think about everyone that meets him. Oh, he's so nice. He's so respectful. It's unsolicited, but then what I see at home, I'm like, are they talking about the same kid? But I'm looking at him from a completely different lens.
Right.
I'm looking at him at the lens of, man, there's so much stuff going on out here. I need you to do X, Y, and Z, as if he doesn't already know that if he's not already navigating that, and he is navigating that.
It's because the world is wild. And so while we trust what we've put in them, how we've raised them, what values, have shaped their lives and now they own as adults, the world is still wild. So as parents, you still feel that little tug, like my daughter is away from me right now. She's in Chicago. She's like, oh, I just love Chicago and I'm taking public transportation. And for a minute, a little bit of me is like, oh, but then I'm like, I just got to trust.
I've seen some Uber money.
But she's like, Mom, but she loves it. So I'm like, oh, okay. So the compromise was, okay, when you're coming back at night, you got to take a Uber.
Yeah.
So we made a compromise, right? And so she's like, okay. But if it had been up to her, she's like, oh, it's fine. That
on the L or something.
Yeah.
So, but I have to trust, like, hey, she's an adult. I've raised an adult, right?
Shout out to Tor. She's doing her thing.
Over there at the DNC. That's what I'm talking about.
Yes, right. So
just make sure she goes and does the architecture tour, the river architecture tour.
Did that last year.
I love that.
That tour is amazing.
Yeah, it is amazing. If you haven't done it, Quan, when you go, you do the river tour, the architecture tour.
Yeah.
Stuff. The Kennedys just keep making money hand over fist.
You're so funny.
Normally I go to Chicago, I'm going to my auntie Jeanette's house. She had rib tips.
Yeah.
Chicago, Southeast. So we be on the south side.
Okay. I'm at south side doing their thing. Yeah. So yeah.
So let's talk about this one or two last things, and I'm gonna let y'all roll out. So one thing that's really important to me and why I wanted to have this podcast and to just start having these Sunday dinner conversations is because I feel like everybody in our families are not thriving, right?
Mm-hmm. Okay.
So what do we do? Like, I know there are folks who, college or not college, we can have that debate. We all got kids in college here, and we think that that's at least a way. And for me, college is just about having a different level of education and that time to grow into your adulthood before you're just 18 and out there, right? And then I think about all the levels of responsibility of a family and even of an individual that we don't have. So like our credit, having a savings, life insurance. What is like this blueprint that we need to be talking about more, particularly with those members of our family who are not thriving and are not set up for just like success?
So I'm this is perfect timing. So Quan and I was having this conversation. So Dawson has decided, that's my oldest son, he has decided that he wants to go to, he wants to be an apprentice electrician.
Okay.
And therefore, college may not be the way for him. And, which is part of the conversation we had the other day, that I needed to trust him more. And I was bless you. I bless you. And that, and that I wasn't appreciating his thoughts and stuff like that. And so that's how it came about. And so the compromise we had was, well, we're already set for the second year. Let's go in, let's get as close as we can to at least an associate's degree. That if you decide that one thing doesn't work out, you have it. So the whole blueprint is to ensure that he has options and that we have options.
That's right.
And so that was the thing. And so my mindset on that whole thing was, while college was for me, I think about those that came before me that didn't go to college and they still was out doing what they needed to do.
That's right.
Mm-hmm. And so college came, and me being the oldest, then Nita went to college. Then Quan went to college.
Right.
And we've had that success based on that. And so now, is that necessary to have success, or what does success look like? And so to our folks, when I think about not doing well, because Quan being 9 years younger than me, he might deal with the cousins that are younger.
Yes.
Right? And so he has a greater connection to them than I do. I'm the old man.
Right.
I'm closer to their dad than to their cousin.
Not according to Leon's daughter.
Not according to Leon. Yeah, Leon's daughter said Quan was 60. Right. So, that's just the whole thing. So when I think about them, like, they are living their lives And just because I may not think they make enough money, they're happy with their existence. And as long as they aren't coming or feeling like they're wanting for anything, then that's their existence. It's just that me being an older generation, I put dollars and costs on everything and what I need to do to achieve or acquire. And these people don't.
Yeah, it's kind of like, if I need money for that, I'm just gonna go Uber or DoorDash, and
Right.
Yeah.
Exactly. And so their mindset is completely different. I keep on telling mine, man, I'm gonna run you down the way and I'm gonna let you stay and let you see. I don't even think they would care.
Yeah, no, they wouldn't.
Yeah, they wouldn't care, but I'm over there like, man, it's hot as hell in here. Where's your air conditioner? Like, where's your air conditioner? I got a fan.
And the bougie emerges again.
But it is the truth.
It is.
Yeah, think about it. I remember I came home second year of college in the summertime, 98, 11. Yeah. That's where I was, East 98.
1122 East 98.
1122 East 98. Mm-hmm. Thank you, sir. And my room was the third floor. It was hot as hell.
That was the furnace.
Red brick house. It was
that boy held heat.
It held
like the oven dough.
I said, I'm never coming back. And I swear to you, I did not go back any summer moving forward. That was the last time I came back home. So the bouginess started early. I needed air conditioning.
Yeah, and so we would say like the grit kind of shaped us wanting more or wanting to have a level of security. But now it's just kind of like whatever comes.
I don't know. There's a couple different ways to look at this. Number one, when you come up without a lot and then you get a little something, it puts you in a space of gratitude. At least for me.
Yeah. Right.
I was laughing with somebody the other day. They was like, man, you ain't grow up with no shower? I'm like, nah, man.
No.
We didn't have
a bathtub.
We had a bathtub.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like somebody was laughing. I'm like, oh, you no shower? I'm like, no.
You didn't have no second bathroom? No. Pops put a toilet in the middle downstairs because he took too long to go. And that was his. It's just in the middle. I'm not joking.
So there's a certain level of gratitude for things that I have, right? But we're talking about success and how do we instill that in folks. I just try to mirror, or not mirror. I just try to live my life to a certain level where, like, all right, I can do that. If this dude, if he can do that, I can do that, right?
Right.
And I make sure that I'm around folks, right?
Yeah.
That's what we got to do. And last couple months, maybe not so much as much as I need to be, but that's the key. It's about exposure, right? We talk about exposing our children to different experiences so that they got a broader perspective on life. Mm-hmm. Yeah. We need to do that with our family members. We need to expose them to the things that, we have been blessed to be exposed to.
That's right.
And talk about it. Like, and let me just finish this thought real quick. Like, one of our cousins, man, shout out to Jasmine. Jasmine is a phenomenal mother, right? Jasmine hustles. Mm-hmm. One of the greatest moms I know.
Not in a bad way, hustle.
Not in a bad way.
Right.
But, and I look at her and I feel like she got that from seeing her dad do that, seeing us do that, right? To me, that's success. Right? That's success.
So our cousins got to follow the good models.
Yeah, we have to model.
We have to model, but then folks have to look at that and say, I want to.
That's the old horse and water adage, right?
Yeah.
We can model. We have to model. We have to have the discussions. But beyond that, I don't know. I don't have the answers beyond that.
So you know what I think about Diane. So Diane's our younger sister, and so I was talking to her today, and we were talking about.
Love you, Diane.
We were talking about insurance and homeowners claims and just all the stuff that I've learned from that. And what Diane has said to me plenty of times is, I just watch what you and Dakota do. And that, and it's funny because outwardly it seems perfect. And I have a pretty good marriage.
Yes.
I have a pretty good marriage. Communication can always be better. But I have a pretty good marriage, right? And I've learned certain things from that. But to Quan's point, just modeling and, making it seamless. Like, I don't think Dakota and I do anything.
Make it seem like second nature.
Right.
Like, that's what we're supposed
I don't
to do.
think we do anything differently than most. But outwardly, people that see it, it's like, it's pretty, pretty cool. And so we've been married 20 years, Dakota Monique. I chased that woman for a long time.
We love black love. We love black marriage.
Chased her for a long time. She didn't even know I had a little brother. I kept that away from her. She did not. She said, you got a brother? I heard he was. I said, yeah. You wouldn't know because he don't look like me.
Right.
She started laughing. Then she met him. It's like, that dude's a trip. But that's definitely your brother. I was like, yeah, I was there when she brought him home from the hospital. Yeah.
Let's circle back on success real quick. Right. Like, you brought up Diane. Diane didn't go to college.
Nope.
Right?
She did not.
But Diane has her own thriving yoga studio.
Yes.
Right.
Yes.
So contracts. With contracts with the city.
Yes.
Right.
Yeah.
Shout out Lil Zen.
Right.
Success is all in the eye of the beholder.
Yes. And I the term success for me, is relative, right? I just want our people to be well and like know the way, or at least have somebody to look to say, hey, I got this thing with my house insurance. Like, to have somebody to talk to. I just realized how many people, just being in community a lot, and I don't really do that work as much as I used to, but just how many people didn't get the lessons. They don't have people they can look to for the guidance. So people are in this constant state of trying to figure everything out. And that's really why these conversations are so important to me, because like, to have two really great husbands and fathers saying like, it's hard, but we're making it work and we're just taking it one step at a time. Yeah. I just love y'all and appreciate y'all so much. I just got a soul food question, because it's Sunday dinner.
Okay.
Top 3 Sunday dinner foods.
Okay.
That have to be on your plate. Sunday dinner, not Thanksgiving with 60 people and Friendsgiving and all that.
Well, see, our house, we're a little eclectic in our house. Like, we be hooking up some different stuff.
Let's go. Hook it up. But the things you would love to have on your plate every Sunday dinner.
Well, he's gotten better. Let me just say that.
We can have a competition, dog. The gauntlet. I'm dropping the gauntlet right here, right now.
Sunday dinner
I just remember that Hennessy stuff you was trying to make, thinking it was Jack Daniel's stuff.
All right, listen, you got to experiment.
Jack Daniel's has a very different flavor profile.
All right, so already know.
All right, so I'm going to say this. Number one. My wife's pot roast.
Pot roast, okay.
Number 2, my mama's fried chicken.
Okay.
It is good.
Old school in the cast iron skillet?
I don't know how she did it, but it was good.
Okay.
Man, listen, she told me the recipe. She always leaves something out, though, because it's often duplicated. Often imitated, never duplicated.
I have to see Auntie about her chicken recipe.
That's what she do.
All right, and so then, pot roast fried chicken.
Her macaroni and cheese pretty good, too.
Yeah, mac and cheese is good, too. Yeah. But number 3, it got to be something green.
Something green.
Actually, shout out to my wife again. Her green beans.
Green beans.
Yeah.
All right. Shout out to Lisa.
I'm getting them coupons today, baby.
He gonna cash them in later.
Hey, I'm cashing them tonight.
Be like, I said your name 17 times. What that translate to? 17 minutes later. All right.
Okay. So my wife can cook pretty good. And I'm gonna tell you, she'll make macaroni and cheese in the dead of the summer. House hot as hell. Macaroni and cheese.
Macaroni and cheese got to be on your plate.
Macaroni and cheese has to be on the plate. Dakota makes these candied yams that everyone asks for. Those things are ridiculous.
All right, candy yams.
But I only eat small portions because them dang old things are too sweet.
Listen, they will send you into the sugars.
Sugar diabetes.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, the sugars.
They will.
Coma.
I know what you put in them, but
baby,
secret safe with me. I did not tell on you. And then the last thing, like Dakota uses the crock pot really well.
You gotta have a crock pot.
And so, I like when she does no peak chicken. She just puts it all in there. You don't peek at it. Come on, it's done. But Dakota's pot roast in the slow cooker. It's actually pretty good, and she does it differently than what Lisa does. Lisa's is very good. He's telling the truth. And she does not use a lot of seasoning because I don't like a lot of seasoning.
Okay, all right.
But I would say her pot roast, her macaroni and cheese.
Myth busting. All black folks don't like a lot of seasoning.
No.
Go ahead.
Listen, we're trying to live for a long time.
And Dakota will throw a pot of greens on in a minute.
Okay, so you get all the Sunday dinner. You put a lot on your plate. I just asked for 3 things. But
Okay, can I get a special mention to oxtail?
Oxtail.
Oh, bro. Ugh. Man, listen, you need to come over and get some of that oxtail, man. I'm telling you.
I'm coming over tomorrow. Sunday dinner at your house or your house?
It ain't at my house. I told you. Thanksgiving.
Yeah, it's at my house.
No Thanksgiving. Well, I appreciate y'all being here having this conversation.
Appreciate you having us.
This is part 1. I'm gonna call it right now. This is the early part 1. We'll definitely have a follow-on session.
Okay, there it is.
But I'm here with my cousins Cherokee and Quan. I've been Robin. My thing I have to have on my Sunday dinner plate is dressing. So that's my thing.
Oh,
but
dressing
who's dressing?
My mom's.
Your mom can cook. She makes some great cakes too.
My mom's dressing. Yeah, and that pound cake. But I'm not a pound cake person.
Is she making a cake?
But that dressing.
She's not making a cake while you're in town?
She's out of town.
Oh man.
She had a church retreat.
I was gonna slide through.
She might have one in the freezer. She might have one in the freezer. Let me see what I can find when I get back to the house. I appreciate y'all. Love y'all. Sunday dinner. We out.